Hey folks, this is Brian. We got to play in Elderath on Saturday night. So, the party had set up kind of an ambush, but then got ambushed from the other side, and stuff will happen from this encounter from all of that stuff. Okay, so anyway, there was that guy in plate who came out, and we were in the alkalites room, and Lynn says something. He turns, looks at her, and turns to stone. So, Wes and Lynn, well, everyone moved south, but Wes and Lynn moved south of the intersection. And Lynn whispers to Wes, "I hear others down the hall past the darkness. They prepared this one. We have a chance to surprise them." That's kind of how this session really started. Okay, so we do set up an ambush. Wes casts Stun Cloud, uses breezes to move it into the darkness. Raymond and Runt kind of come down just outside the darkness at the alkalite room, and then Lynn moves back behind Wes so that, and on the far wall so we're not looking at her kind of thing. Okay, two cultists come out of the darkness. One of them sees Lynn, who said something to him, so he turns and looks and turns to stone. The other one made his save. So Raymond attacks him, hits him twice, plus Wes moves the stun cloud on top of him, so after 2 rounds of stun cloud, he's done. Oh, they're wearing chain underneath these robes that they have on. And metallic armor, well, it's got padding underneath that, but metallic armor doesn't protect against these electricity crits, which is kind of cool. That's helpful. Okay, so maybe around later, I think, another one comes out. He avoids Lynn's gaze and engages her. So he's trying to attack her. She's trying to dodge. She's actually really good at dodging. But Wes, moves up. He moves the stun cloud on top of him, and then he's got his rapier or his dagger to attack and defend as well. But he's not really that successful during this encounter because the breezes spell is a concentration spell in order to keep it up. So he's keeping his concentration on that. So in order to do something else like attack, he has to make a concentration roll. And while he's got like a 51%, something like that, chance of doing that, he rolled a bunch of 55s, 59s, and 60s and stuff. So not a lot happened there. Okay. Oh, at the end of the combat, though, Wes does a critical parry against when they attack, because the cultist stopped attacking Lynn and started attacking Wes. But Wes did a critical parry, although the guy got a special attack. But Wes's fencing skill allows a riposte whenever he makes a special parry. So criticals are special as well, right? So he gets to do a riposte, so he attacks with his rapier. He ends up dropping the breezes spell, so he didn't have to worry about concentration, so he can actually get a good hit on this guy. But he goes down. Okay, so we are all sitting around. We recognize that Alexander is missing. So we send Runt to go check for him because we can see the light from the doorway behind us. Runt gets to the entrance of the door and he's looking for tracks. He does recognize some tracks there. Going down the hill and under that. So we all follow and trace. We get down to where I think it was the encounter where Alexander got involved in melee with the two guys, and they cast spells and he went to sleep. Which reminds me, there is no live play this time for some oddball reason. Debut, my screen capture software was not capturing the other voices of the other players, just mine. No idea what's going on with that, so I'll either get it fixed by this weekend for my game, or maybe I'll just leave my Logitech on and the speakers will talk and we'll see how that works out. I'm not sure about that. Okay, so and as we search the area, Raymond finds tracks of just 2 people moving off to the north. That's towards the road. So we go that way. And as we're going along, we find bits and pieces of some of Alexander's stuff, small, heavy, easily removed heavy stuff as we go along. is getting discarded. And this is one of those areas where, I've done, body carries, carrying, because they weren't dragging him along anywhere, they're carrying him. So you've got this guy, yeah, he's size 8, but he's wearing chain. And, he's got this other stuff that's, kind of heavy. And just carrying a body, fireman style, well, you can, walk and even run a little bit. You've got to stop and rest a lot. And you don't really run very fast. You end up taking shorter strides. And so that was one consternation I had with this encounter, was the fact that these guys carrying, because we're not talking about like 3 melee rounds inside the cabins. Hold on. This is also my library. I've got a dehumidifier in here. I've got to turn it off. So getting down to where the intersection was, yeah, that took some time. And, they're doing their thing. And it just seemed, it was hard for me to comprehend the rationale of them getting so far ahead of us. Yeah, we're trying to track as we're going along, but it's not like we're walking and looking down. That's not how you track, right? You look down, see where they went, go ahead a bit, look around, keep following, that kind of thing. But, whatever it is. Okay, so we get to the road. They're up ahead of us. We can't see them because it's a windy trail. We eventually get to a part where it's long, and so we can actually see them. It seemed like they were still quite a ways away. In fact, somebody was saying something about being just inside bow range kind of thing. So we're talking, a couple hundred yards maybe. And all of Wes's spells have like a max limit of 100 feet. So there's nothing that he can do with this kind of distance, right? And apparently the 2 guys are there, and they see us, so they put a knife to Alexander's throat, saying, "Hey, if you come after us, we're going to kill him." And coming down the road are horses. We can hear horses coming. I think at that point we actually went off the road and continued on forward, trying to stay hidden-ish, that kind of thing. I forgot to mention there was a flash when they were on the road up ahead in the air, and that's apparently a signal for these horsemen to come. So there's five horsemen eventually show up. 2 with lances up front, 1 with a pennant, and a 3rd one behind those 2 in robes. And then there were these 2 others. The 2 with lances and the wizard, well, he's actually a cleric, I guess, move past the footmen with Alexander, interposing themselves. And while they come forward, we're still trying to get closer. And I think at the very end we got within range. So Wes cast Lord Sleep. That's the most effective group type spell he has. And, well, Wes and I, both of us, we recognize, okay, these guys clearly outclass us, right? So the odds of us, taking all these guys out is not very high, but we might be able to do something, right? And so Wes is just, I can't get within range. I gotta get within range. I gotta get within range. So he gets up there and casts Lord Sleep. The cleric casts some kind of anti-essence or cancel-essence kind of spell. So while Wes was successful in casting it, there was a power versus power thing on the anti-essence, and that failed to get through. So it went down. So Lord Sleep got canceled. Okay, so while this is going on, because Wes was trying to get the 2 guys on horseback that are trying to get Alexander and the other 2 guys onto their horses, which is what they're doing, right? Alexander's tied up, they throw him over the back of one horse, and the other 2 try to climb her up. And so that was my target, was these 2 horsemen in the back, and then maybe those footmen, and then, maybe if there's any left to the cleric, and yeah, as far as it will go that direction. So we don't have as many people we need to fight against if it comes down to that. But it was canceled. They all turn and run off, and the horses go much faster than we are, so they're out of range, immediately. And there's nothing we can do. They're taking them back to the keep. We follow along the road. There is a spot near the keep that we found like a little hidey hole, and that we spied on them from the first time we were here. And so we go there. We see that there's a flag up inside the keep that's black with a red stripe. And so we start discussing options. Could we try to set up a prisoner exchange, go back to the caves, get the priest, or maybe that captain guy that we had already turned to stone, and some of the acolytes or something, and use that as a prisoner exchange kind of thing. So we head back to the caves. By now it's dark. The statues in the hallway and the dead guy are still there. That's 2 dead guys. The 2 dead guys are still there. So we drag the captain's statue into the acolyte room. Runt goes about destroying the others. And we take the 2 dead bodies, just kind of toss them out the entrance. They roll down into the valley. We did notice they have these holy symbols. They have this it's an eye, but it's not a flaming eye, right? We've run against the flaming eye before. And of course, they got 2 sets of chain. Okay, so we go west and then north. There are 2 doors, and then the cat passage itself turns at the north end. First room is similar to the Acolyte's room, 4 cots, although these are much more comfortable cots. But there are books here, right? Most of these are prayers to Ford. Okay, so yeah, we torch those. There's a second door in this room. They both connect to this barracks room. So go further north, the hallway then turns northeast, and we come across a secret door on the north that's about halfway down this passageway. And Wes got a special or critical on his listening, so he can hear snoring from inside. We managed to get it open. It's not really a room, it's more like a hallway, 10 by 15. Runt goes in. He doesn't see anything, but again, he can hear snoring coming from the door. If he's looking for a secret door and he can't find anything. And we go in and check, and we can't find anything, so okay, we go further north. We did do some kind of jamming with a dagger on the door, so that if somebody does try to come out, it's at least going to be tougher. Okay, as we're going north, there's a door on the east, and then the whole west side of the hallway opens up into a chamber. There's a tapestry we can see, and as we get up close and look around, there are pews, there's some altars, there's a dais with a throne and chairs on it. And Raymond asked Wes to shine light onto the south wall, and at first he just went to the south wall. It's fine, and along the no, that's what I meant. Okay, so Wes runs up to the northeast corner, shining down onto the south wall. There's actually a door behind him at this point. But the fact of him doing that, as soon as he walks into the temple area, there are 8 candelabras. I don't see a number. There are candelabras in here, and they all light up magically, right? It's got a huge arch ceiling, 30 feet high. It's obviously the red stone with the black marble veins like before. The west wall is translucent and shows vague shapes moving in it. There's a bell here. It's off the left on the south wall. It's got mallets there, right? The pews, 3 stone altars. One is completely black. One is striped, black and white, red. Then there's a black one with red flecks. The dais chairs, talked about that. The throne itself, the greater chair kind of thing, is gem encrusted. Well, has gems in it. It's not entirely encrusted. Similar to the other one we saw in the other shrine area. Now there are evil glyphs on the chairs and on the altars. There's 8 candelabras. And for a moment, Wes's attention is grabbed by movement from the translucent wall, but he made a saving throw. Apparently that's got some kind of effect. And so Wes warns everyone about that, and everybody else comes in. So Raymond heads to the app. Okay, the chamber has a south entrance on their side, or exit really. So Raymond heads for that. Wes moves over, so he shine light down. Runt and Raymond investigate. There's another hallway that opens up to an entry area. There are 3 plate mail statues, not stone, plate mail, like hung plate mail statues there, and a door. This area is lavishly decorated. There's a table there with gold cups and furnishings. Runt checks the door. Raymond tries to cut the plate mail off of one of the little statue things, not little, one of the full-size statue things, right? Number 3 was the one he was trying to get it off of. And as soon as he touches them, they come to life and attack. Okay, so West does stun cloud on 2 of them, and was going to do this hilt punch kind of stuff. But against plate, it only does D4. It doesn't have damage bonus. There's no way going to get through any of that unless he gets like a critical kind of thing. So he starts firing double charged light shock bolts into these guys. And the one that Runt is fighting really damages that magic dagger. And he got a fumble where he drops it. No, he got hit in the arm, ended up dropping it. Raymond, fighting 2 down below, does a fumble, ends up throwing his sword, and he's down on 1 leg. And about that point, the door opens, and a plate armored man steps out. Lynn says something, and different from all the others she has said to other people. And he misses a save, looks at her, turns to stone. And then Wes kicks Raymond's sword to him, and the shock bolts on those guys as well. So between all of that, oh yeah, that's right, 2 of my shock bolts did special, which is cool because they do impale, so they do max plus roll. But between the stun cloud, the shock bolts, some of the fighting, we end up taking out all these zombies. They turn out to be zombies inside these suits of plate. So we got 3 suits of plate here. Okay, into the priest's room, right? It's well apportioned. There are books, most of which are devotion to Forge. Oh my goodness. And Raymond is like out of magic points, so he's going to take a nap while we rummage through the room. So we've got plenty of time. All the devotion to Forge books we toss into a pile. We're going to torch those. We have Lynn help us, recognize, good, bad, good, bad. In one of the books, a piece of paper, parchment, falls out. It's a letter from the elf. It's a contract between the priest and the elf for Lynn. And it provides for safe delivery with directions towards what we think is Forg's Citadel. That rift. Some Forg's location, right? Okay. So it indicates to us that these elves are working with Forg's Citadel and his people. So Wes rolls out and keeps that. We do end up with a small pile of good books. There's 3 books on channeling, 1 book on essence. There's a channeling scroll. It's protections. No, it's not. Yeah, protections, channeling. Oh, it's two scrolls. One's protections, the other is channeling. There's an actual list like that. There's a potion we couldn't recognize, and there's a staff with a snake head. Lynn, I think, knew something about that. Apparently it can change into a snake, or that when you strike with it, it entangles somebody and bites them. There is a demonic statue, and we find the secret door entrance from this side in that little hallway, the 10 by 15. And when that comes open, there's also a secret compartment that comes open that's full of coins and gems. So at this point, there's discussion on how do we get 3 suits of plate, plus the 2 sets of chain, plus the statue of the captain, all back to where we need to go. And Wes is thinking it would take a couple of travois, but we could do it, I think, just piling stuff. I'll leave the captain statue on one and put all the other stuff on the other one, kind of thing. So that kind of discussion goes. We get outside, and apparently, and I missed this part, apparently in the process of moving the statue down the hill, it got damaged. Don't recall how badly, but it did get damaged. And then we go back to the farmhouse with the chimney that the Drugar was in. We camp out down there. There's like a side room we can set Lynn up in. We leave the statue up top, and then discussions ensue for quite a while on, okay, how do we get Alexander back? Will Lynn help us? Is there a way to bypass the keep and maybe interdict a possible slave movement with Alexander and snag him? Is there a way we could possibly involve these wandering groups of youth out here? Obviously, the tower here, and what it's doing is causing all kinds of issues, throughout the valley. Why haven't the Jarls done anything yet? Could we get them? It's obviously not a good idea for this to be occupied by bad guys up here. Could we get them involved? Is there maybe a way that we can actually sneak in, grab Alexander and sneak out? Could we use the dead acolytes to get in? But then there's the whole language issue that we would then have. There's some discussion about my shade spell, and it gives you plus 25 for hiding and plus 10 for sneaking around. So that's something, and that would boost a Runt's skills up pretty high. But then, how do we find him? And interweaved into this whole discussion is, does Alexander's player want Alexander back badly enough that we risk Runt? And that came down to not to risk Runt's character, no. And that's kind of where we ended the night. It was actually well past midnight at this point, and my eyeballs were drying out. So I said, "Hey guys, sorry, I gotta go." So I shut down and took off. It looks like we're gonna Alexander's player is going to roll up a new character, and he was talking to me briefly about it, and he's thinking about a paladin, something that he had rolled Alexander up to be a sneaky thief type with the ranger bent, but ended up playing him more like a frontline fighter, and obviously the two things didn't match. So he's got more experience now on how this works, and so hopefully able to make a character more in tune with how he would like to play, rather than being that split mind kind of thing he had initially. Thinking one way but going another, and how that just did not work out for him. Whew, long one, 23 months. Sorry guys. Happy gaming.